It is happening. And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to an impromptu stream of the CM Kozeman YouTube channel. If you are watching this on replay, I hope you're doing fine, and I am doing fine. If you're on the replay gang or the live view gang, please consider supporting me on Patreon, buy me a coffee, and all that other shit. Get some merchandise, maybe get one of the books. All Tomorrows is on sale. Every penny helps. 20 people watching, and it's 10:45 where I live. Hello to Pixel. Hello to Creme by Crew. Hello to Guitar Tapping Master. Hello to Destructot. Hello to Cactus Survival, who is from Poland, which is really nice. Hello to Markile Marki. Hello to Regen Tauher. Hello to Ünsal Hanoğlu. Hello to Cramby Crew and everybody else. Flow Zone says, good evening, grandfather Közemen. What happened to your hair? It was getting out of control, so I had it taken care of. That's what fucking happened. I went through a regrettable long hair phase 2 years ago, and after that I said, never again. Never again. It's just so much easier this way. Hello, nice cut, says Aquarium Bird. Thank you so much. Graphite89 says, I'm seeing the face of the author of All Tomorrows for the first time. So you didn't watch any of my other videos before on this channel. Thanks for your iconic book. Well, thank you for being such an iconic viewer and a follower. So I hope everybody is doing fine. I was not going to stream tonight. In fact, I was recently planning to focus more on long form videos and shit, but nah, this got the better of me. So we got the snacks. We got the healthy snacks. And we got the tea and everything. Make yourselves at home and ask me questions about life, evolution, and anything in between. Science fiction. I value questions about life and life advice and more bigger general questions better. So, yeah, I mean, I like general questions better than topical questions. Greetings, Kaptan, says Marcus Armantro. And people are sending me hearts. Thank you so much. Will you add a beard to your look? No, not really. I had one until this morning. Then I cut it. I don't like... Look, you go to a cafe these days, or like you go out on the street. Almost every man, every man has a shit beard. If you have a beard, don't get offended. But almost every man has a beard, and they're like unkempt, half-grown, yes. It's not sharp, it's not cool. To me, it looks lazy. Once again, if that's your look, I respect it. So it's not something I personally like. A Salafi beard or a nice Turkish mustache? No. Neither is my thing. What does life mean to you, and what do you value the most in it? Very good question. One that would take me, ideally, several years to answer. Life is about having hopes and working in order to realize as many of them as possible. Life is all about, look, here's one thing I can say with certainty. There will always be convolutions and chaos and disturbances throughout your life. You will only have moments. of bliss and serenity. One such moment is tonight. And you got to make the best of them. As somebody once said, all our victories are ephemeral, only defeat is eternal. What is your favorite horror movie? Probably Event Horizon, which scared me so much that I swore off horror movies. Here's a marshmallow. I really hated and loved that film. It was really dark, grotesque, and Sam Neill does a wonderful performance in it. It was really scary in a way that made it feel like evil had permeated the film itself. And I saw it when I was 13 or 12, I don't remember. I was very young when I saw it, and I saw it in a theater too. And I was so scared that I was worried that thinking about the movie would allow demons to come to my life through the sheer act of fear itself. Event Horizon, this film. Let's share the images too. Yeah, wait. Infinite space, infinite terror. So, this was the movie that broke me. And yet, I could not sleep for 4 nights in a row. I was so fucking scared. And when I was a kid, I was really set on my sleeping hours. You may laugh, but I panicked if I fell asleep after midnight because I was worried that I couldn't get enough sleep. So this thing kept me sleepless until 4 a.m. in one nightmarish night. I was so scared, I was convinced that you can't see the picture. It's gonna come up. Anyways, I was so scared that the movie itself would haunt me or warp my mind in a dark way or some shit. But that is that. Speaking of, I had a similar nightmare the other night. Okay, it was a cold night. Got up, turned on the heater. Okay? Then I dreamt that the heater was getting out of control and it would manifest a sort of heat demon into being. For those who don't know, there's this thing like a boiler attached to a wall. We call it a combi. So you have to like flick that on so that the heating works, the central heating works. And it's in a separate part of the house. So in the nightmare, I had a waking dream in which there was like a heat demon or an entity coming into life near the combi. And as it got hotter, it would manifest itself with more structure. Fucking demon. So it was like a feedback loop. So I woke up again after an hour and, well, turned off the heat and I guess defeated the combi demon. It is so boring at all. I don't get how, well, maybe you're made out of tougher stuff than I am. Speaking of horror movies, look, I'm not much of a horror film person. I don't like watching films where people die for no reason. And, I always I always think there's enough shit in the world, so I don't need to like take on imaginary shit. I am scared and worried about enough stuff as it is. Ünsal Hanoğlu says, I prefer the movie Contact. Yes, that was a great film. Dinomation says, I'll check out Event Horizon after the stream. Baby Botfly comes with a fantastic comment. Are you aware of the shadow people phenomenon? I was scared to death of them as a child. Okay, so shadow people, it's this phenomenon where people claim to see dark people or humanoid apparitions when they're younger. They kind of look like this shit. Look at it. Goddamn motherfucking. I mean, look at this thing. It's very, very. So people have visions like this. And I remember my good friend, John Conway. We were talking one night drinking years and years ago, like almost 20 years ago now. We were drinking and we started talking about, as all good friends do, we started talking about if we had any supernatural experiences we could not explain. So he told me that him and his brother had visions of shadow dogs for continuous nights, successive nights. John Conway and his brother had visions of shadow dogs, which were like shadow people, but they were in a house and there was a window. It was overlooking a tree, and I guess this was a windy season. So among the branches of the tree, they started seeing dog-like things that were like attenuated and like essentially, bless you, essentially shadow people versions of dogs or wolves. They started seeing these in the branches. And both him and his brothers saw these things. And they kept seeing them for like 3-4 nights on end. Toxic Toon says, bless you. Valla says, çok yaşa. Well, iyi yaşa Ünsaloğlu. Bless you. Guitar Tapping Master says, I saw one of these things when I was at my lowest. Now, these things always interest me in a perverse way. If you go to my channel, I'm not going to tell that story again, but there's a video in my YouTube channel, and it's about my alien abduction experience. So I had like a similar vision dream experience. But not exactly shadow people. I always wonder, like, if you see something like this, you have to question it. Who's your mother? Who's your father? Where do you come from? Tell me what's on the car. Now, what's the license plate? What's on the license plate of the next car that's going to pass my street? Ask them something extraneous that you cannot know, but maybe he can. And if he can answer it, then you're dealing with something real or something independent from your mind. If not, it is more likely to be so people see these things when they're growing up or when they're like going through a real hard time, okay? I think most of these things, and also like most alien visions too, are created when the brain's image or silhouette recognition center is triggered when you're developing, or I don't know, if you've taken some hallucinogens. So, we got like pre almost pre-programmed visual reflexes for many things like faces, babies, human silhouettes, certain animals, okay? So if you got like fewer as a kid, or if you're a kid and your fucking neuron gets activated, maybe it triggers the center of the brain that's, to put it crudely, responsible for recognizing these visual reflexes. So there's no stimulus, but that reflex still gets triggered. So you get a vision like that. That's what I believe. Cranby Crew says, my mom says that used to say that fireflies would take me if I don't sleep early when I was a kid. That's a scary thing. Like specifically, like, because a firefly is a cute animal. I mean, they look like these, huh? I'm looking for a good image. So this is what a firefly looks like. Notice its big alien-like eyes. So if your mom says fireflies will take you, I have visions of not a like actual 1 centimeter firefly coming to take you, but some giant insectoid alien phantom ghost demon creature with similar eyes. It's gonna come and nab ya. So that can't be good. So mothers and grandmothers are always the best horror story authors, by the way. I remember my young brother and I, when my parents went out to, I don't know, meet family and friends, they would hire an old Romanian babysitter, and she would scare us with stories of a creature called What? What geliyor? She would say. What is gonna come pick you up? We didn't know what was, but we would be scared shitless, and we just, do whatever she says. It would scare us to such a degree that after one day when the babysitter left, my brother and I had a philosophical discussion about what might have looked like. To me, what was always like a floating disembodied mask, like a theater mask. And to my brother, it was like a man with no face and a hood. So funny how one complemented the other. One had no face, the other had no body. So that is that. The scariest operative point with these stories is the way these creatures are fireflies, or shadow people, or what the fuck ever, phantoms. They're gonna take you to an island where you will not come back from. So that's very scary, especially in this day and age when, at the time of recording, of course, the Epstein leaks and allegations were all over the internet. I'm going to spare you, like everybody with a channel is talking about these things, but it just goes to show how dark and unfair society is on its topmost levels. Peppy Pep says, I am schizophrenic and shadow people are a presence in my life. I also have shadow animals, birds and dogs, which I never hear other people talk about. Mm, well, I hope you keep it under control, and it's nice and commendable that you are self aware. And I'm always happy that this channel is home to such a diverse and eccentric range of people. Not to meddle with your condition, but next time you see shadow people, ask one who its mother was. I remember hearing or reading about somebody consulting a schizophrenic, and the schizophrenic would say, each night from my radio there's a voice says he's the empire of China, tells me to kill my mom, kill my dad, kill my brother, whatever. So the psychiatrist says China hasn't had an emperor since so many years. So next time this emperor of China accosts you, mention him that fact. So the schizophrenic says, hold on a minute, I just learned that China's been ruled by communism, and recently a more pragmatic sort of communism, for decades now. You're not Xi Jinping. What are you on about? Voice never comes back. Zip it. Asking those kinds of questions sounds like those from fairy tales where people trick the devil by making him do math or some kind of thought which he gets confused by. True. It is also highly possible and maybe even closer to reality to place all of these in a framework where if you, like I, believe that consciousness has another dimension to it that attaches itself to all life but is distinct from life, that might imply consciousness or forms of consciousness that drift freely and are not directly attached to any life form. Now, in the past, you may have called them demons or angels. Today, you may call them aliens or night terrors or shadow people. Or sometimes you may, or people may, unintentionally classify them in the DSM. Consciousness as parasitic. Do you know about the parasite language theory by Frederick Corland? No, I don't. But I mean, this is a model of the universe. I'm not saying this is how things operate, but from my limited time on this earth of 41 odd years, okay? This is my understanding. It's like my religious view, if you will. So there are things, okay? It's a thing. Living things from maybe viruses, bacteria, and onwards, they are also motivated alongside physics. They're also motivated by another force that at the current time science cannot understand without breaking its frameworks entirely. It's like a luminiferous ether in reverse. So what I'm saying is, like, during the 18th century, people thought that space was filled with another kind of substance called luminiferous ether, which was a kind of emptiness that would propagate light but not sound or not host molecules and stuff like that. Then it turned out, no, actually, it's a real vacuum. So you see, there are some scientific principles that only catch up with reality later. In the same way, I think intelligence fills and roams the universe in the same way. Maybe nervous systems help collect it or organize it, but it can also be free roaming. So those free roaming bits, maybe you call them demons. Speaking of demons, I don't know how we came to this, but I'm reading this great book these days, The Penguin Book of Demons. It has been compiled by this great researcher, edited by Scott G. Bruce. And it contains first-hand sources from throughout history. So it's like demons of Byzantium, demons in the Middle Ages, demons in Dark Age Europe, demons in the Solomonic Testament, stuff like that. So it's just primary sources. No exaggeration, no some modern researcher yapping about this. Just primary sources about demons, on and on and on. It's a lovely book. And if you're interested in like weird stuff in general, or even if you want to write science fiction, it's one of those books you must have. So that's that. The way you talk about the way you view the world is exceedingly beautiful to me, says Chad Cyborg. Thank you so much. All right, many comments. Just a second. Bleed Out says, I like your haircut. Thank you. Marcus Armantro says, do you believe there are tunnels under the ocean? Well, there is one between England and France, no? But I don't think anybody dug actual tunnels below the world's oceans. There could be volcanic tubes and stuff that are formed by natural processes, but no. Pep says, my demons never speak. If things do speak, they speak in non sequiturs. They say things like, what time is it? It is wet. And this is a place of creativity. I thought idle hands were the devil's workshop. Tell him that and see if he fucks off. Muzzy says, after hearing your perspective, it is really great to invite you to Ode to Akek. I'm really excited. So yes, upcoming events. I will be going to the Turkish capital city of Ankara again to attend this event. Just a second. Let's see if I can. So I'm going to join up this event. By the way, this is going to be a welcome change of subject from demon shit. So ODTÜ is the Middle Eastern Technical University, one of the leading colleges in Turkey, in the capital city of Ankara. And they have an evolution conference, and I will be presenting for 2 days. And many people are attending, like from all over the world, like proper biologists and scientists. And there's a lot of letters of recommendation and stuff. So I'll be having 2 distinct seminars. One of them is going to be in Turkish, in the Turkish language. It's going to be an open question time, very similar to this live stream right here. Another one is going to be a bespoke presentation about the history and uses of speculative evolution. No, I'm really looking forward to that one. So yeah, how do you feel about collective consciousness? Says Mickey in Design. I don't know. I mean, something like that could work according to the theory I outlined. But also, many people lead similar lives and similar living conditions, historic conditions, also produce similar responses. So if your country is being ruled like shit, kind of visible anger is in the air. But that doesn't need collective consciousness to explain. There's all the whole deal about the collective subconscious, but I don't know. I don't have much to say about those claims. Apparently, there's this like collective world of ideas, symbols, and archetypes in and above everybody's heads. But yeah, it is what it is. Okay, some questions about Boontling. Are you aware of Boontling? I'm learning to harp a little Boontling myself. I don't know what that is. Oh, it's a micro language spoken in Boonville, California only, related to Scottish Gaelic and Irish with some Spanish words sprinkled in. That's a nice one. Guitar Tapping Master says, do you want to have another pet mantis or a pet bug? Well, here's the thing. I don't go out of my way to find a pet mantis. Like the last mantis I found on my doorstep, and I had to keep it so it wouldn't die after summer. I don't normally seek out animals. Like I'm not saying I'm going to buy a mantis or something, so I don't know. Lucas Evangard says, hello, everyone. Hello to you too. I have the isopods now, and they're doing great. In fact, I'm going to show you something very creepy now. A couple of weeks ago, I found during a beach walk, I found a dead lizard. A cat had killed it and was playing with it. Okay, I tried to rescue it, but it was already dead. The cat dropped it and, well, fucked off. Then I thought about what to do with it. Maybe dry it, or I don't know, just keep it somehow. So this is the dead lizard. Okay. And I gave it to my isopods, and they're crazy. They just started dismembering it right then and there. So they start like from pulling its fingers, and they just like dismembered it. And I kid you not, I was hoping actually that I would get maybe the bones of the lizard or something, but no, in 2 days it was just gone. Like one morning I woke up, it was just gone. Nothing. Tasty food for the little ones. So at that colony, after the lizard was like ingested, they all started fucking, and now there's babies running all over the place. It was like a bounty for them. Aloha, says Sinchulum. Aloha to you too. Are you really from Hawaii? Just don't eat it, says Igaram. Maybe about the lizard. Well, I didn't eat it. So yeah, the isopods just like obliterated a huge dead lizard. Even the teeth and bones are gone. That's crazy. And they do it slowly and meticulously too. And now they're having a great time. Like I see them mating all over the place, and there's little babies running around. So yeah. Devin Sommer, longtime friend, says hi. And also Ginkgo, his pet ball python, also says hi. You should talk. I know you wrote to me. It's on my mind, but too busy. The Dragon Feast Love Festival. Yeah, imagine like a huge dragon falls from the sky, tastes like sushi. Everybody eats little bits and gets it on. To be honest, it was also like I think a better end for the poor lizard than a like being dried and turned into a curio or something. Because like I like natural history and stuff like this, but I'm not really very keen on turning the house into some sort of like dead animal museum. Shinshirum says, sadly, I'm not from Hawaii. I'm from the god-forsaken country of Poland. Wanna trade passports? Then you'll see what forsaking really feels like. Moral of the story is don't badmouth your country to others. There's always worse places. Siren X Doe says, hello, my goat. I hope your week has been wonderful. Now it's better that you are here. All of you, all 35 of you. Many guys from Poland here. We should do a roll call, yes. Where's everybody from? Let us hear in the comments. Where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you from? We got a Polish supermajority forming. Guitar tapping master is from Latvia. Çağatay just does a crying emoji. Scial is from Turkey. Bleed Out says, whoever's from Poland, be lucky you're not in France, Sweden, or the UK. All of those countries are extremely developed places. Their cities are having problems with migration and corruption now, but all three of those countries have extremely beautiful countrysides. I don't know what's there to be lucky about not being there. Valla is from Turkey. Toxic Tune is from Germany. Boop, boop, boop. Çiğdem Özdemir is from Turkey. Dylan Wolvers official is from Spain as a Dutch immigrant. Regen Tauher also from Germany. Cheryl Cyborg is from Mamaroneck, New York. Mikin is from Czechia. Flowzone is from Germany. Bleed Out, live from Texas. Boom, boom, boom. Siren X Doe says Poland is flipping the switch and is invading instead of being invaded. Florida native here. Peppy Peppy Pep from California with their demons and entities. California is just the state to be a schizophrenic in, isn't it? I mean, they do have good, compared to other places in the States, they do have a better health policy, or so I've heard. Marcus Armantro is from Central Illinois. Charlie Calliope from California. If I ever have the funds to spare, I want to fly you out here. I will gladly take that offer. Problem is, I cannot get a US visa yet. It's very hard to acquire. And thank you. I will take you up on that offer. Baby Botfly says, an ex of mine wanted to keep a human skeleton on display ethically. I think those things are nice for like maybe you keep it at home for a year or something, but then the novelty wears off and you're looking at somebody's skeleton the whole time. If I had a human skeleton, I would donate it to a local museum or a medical school. I would like maybe hang out with it for, I'm not much of a skeleton guy, sorry. Maybe for a couple of days, take pictures, then send it. Cactus Survival says, I am from Gorzów, Wielopolski, the western part of the country. I met you at DinoCon and I gave you the cool sticker. Okay, I remember you. Really nice. Muzzy is from Konya, Turkey. Baby Botfly is from California. Siren X Doe says California is terrifying with a capital T. Even the trees are something out of a Lovecraftian horror realm. You talk about these trees, the Joshua trees. I remember seeing them in the California desert as I was driving through it. They look like this. Siren X Doe says, we will sneak you into the US in a big box with many snacks and blankets. Well, then spend the rest of my life running from ice. I'd rather come there fair and square. I would only resort to something like that if there was a war or like if there was like no way to stay where I am now. Baby Botfly says, to my fellow Californians in chat, are you from the north or the south? North is better, by the way. I can confirm that having driven there from Oregon all the way down to San Francisco. What do you think about Günther von Hagen's Body Worlds? Educational or just macabre nonsense? I actually like those exhibits a lot. If you don't know what we're talking about, Body Worlds is this like traveling anatomy and art exhibit created by I think this Dutch doctor, and he takes actual cadavers and preserves them extensively, and then he does like these weird artful rearrangements with the tissues and the bones so they look like this. I think it's a great exhibit for science communication and like getting people to develop an interest in medicine. He's not selling them as like artworks or like it's just an exhibit. So there would maybe be ethical problems if he was like selling these to rich people as statues or something. That would be a pretty shitty. But yeah, this is what they look like. Guitar Tapping asks a question about All Tomorrows. Any more information about bug facers? You gotta go to my Patreon or wait for the Redux book. The exhibit is just me after listening to Taylor Swift. Look, Taylor Swift's music, I don't like it either, but can't be that bad. Have you considered turning your Dinosauroid project into a physical book? I'll answer this in a second. Flowzone says the artist responsible for Body Worlds has an accent that resembles a Nazi doctor. The way he poses bodies is also weird. I think no speaker of Germanic languages is going to avoid that association. But ask yourself this: if this person was speaking English with an American accent or a British accent, like maybe the guy is a huge creep, but like then it's just like a trope and an association, in my humble opinion. Cactus Survival says, have you considered turning your Dinosauroid project into a physical book? Okay, so let's look at those. This is the project you're talking about. I hope you can see it. I'm going to wait for confirmation for the images first. Can you see this? Okay, good. So my good friend Simon Roy and we were collaborating online, and we wanted to have a story where dinosaurs did not die out. So we were both drawing intelligent dinosaurs. So we began to draw. These are mostly Simon Roy's artworks, by the way. A world where dinosaurs are smart enough to hunt, and like also the world has changed too. I mean, it's a world where dinosaurs didn't die out, but still there are large mammals. And we designed lots of fauna and flora and cultural details and everything. This is a wonderful project. I mostly wrote this book or this project, and Simon did most of the illustrations. So it's not up to only me. Is the whole thing available on your website? Yes, it's on my website. Go to cmkoseman.com/dinosauroids.html. And I'm only going to show you half now. The rest you can find out. Just go to my website, go to the projects tab, and you can find it there. I got some ideas, but I'll never say what I'm working on as a book. So you just have to wait and see. Do your dinosaurs have metallurgy, or how did you envision them blacksmithing? Blake Richardson says, hello, 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 hello. Well, you're just going to have to see it. And I don't know, you have to badger Simon Roy and me, and maybe we can like put it out there, make it a book, but it would be. Also, this is just like a big world building idea. There's no story there. So maybe a publisher would be reluctant to pick that up, but who knows? A few science articles mention that in a few 100 million years, most land on Earth will become inhospitable to vertebrate life. That's a huge time envelope. That chasm of time, I don't think a few science articles can opine confidently about it. What is your favorite dinosaur? I like Ceratosaurus. Look, some of you seem to be completely oblivious to my website, by the way. I'm going to share it again now. I got like huge galleries of paleo art, spec evo art, all free. And then there is 4 to 5 times the amount, the same amount on my Patreon. So I stopped refreshing this page 6 years ago. Anything new goes to my Patreon. Anything before 2020 was here. Siren X Do says, I first read All Tomorrows on a plane ride to Florence. Wow. To entertain myself on an 8-hour flight. 3 years of being a fan. Well, thank you. I hope you enjoyed Florence too. Pep Pip Pep Pip Pip says, your best website is the best inspiration material. It's much better than scrolling Pinterest. I am on Pinterest too, actually. Let's go there. But of course, it's very easy. I made this website with Microsoft Word, if you can believe it, and then fine-tuned it with Adobe Dreamweaver, okay? It doesn't need any like coding or like dynamic design. It's just a simple HTML website that's like decked out to look fancy. You always have to own your own data. It's like being a shopkeeper. Then, of course, you can release your products to supermarkets. That is to say, release your stuff to social media. But I mean, it's also a sign that you take yourself seriously as an artist. So this is my Pinterest. Where are my things? I've got a very organized Pinterest. So I got one gallery for kaiju cartoons, one gallery for stamps. I hope you can see this, by the way. Dan McAleer says hello or raises the hand. I guess you can see it. So I got I organize everything. There's a one for fossils. There's one for monsters and outdated nature art. There's one for mysticism, archaeology, and, well, religious art. There's one for surrealism and outsider art. There's one for UFO folklore, for Tiana, another gallery for science fiction, spec evo, and fantasy, another gallery for paleo art, another gallery for skeletal drawings, another gallery for organisms in art, that is to say, nature art, another gallery just for organisms, like interesting creatures, basically. Then I got interesting interiors, interesting locations, landscapes in art, military stuff, and aviation, and then cars, trains, and boats. Bless you. Thank you, guys. So this is what I got. Let's look at one of the tabs if you want. Is your little mascot deity inspired by Cernunnos? No, it's based on a drawing I made when I was little. Do you like my singing monsters? I've been making professional fan art for my singing monsters for the past 2 years. But you have to follow my Patreon to see it. No such thing as a free lunch there, I'm afraid. 51 people watching. Nettleflap says, happy streaming. Hello, Bugs Bunny. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, I'm going to go to the cars section. These are all the fancy, weird cars and shit that I'm collecting of Pinterest. As you can see, I have a style, let us say. Oh, you want the 2006 Honda Civic? Okay, let's search for it. Okay, I'm gonna save this to cars. I'm also gonna save this to cars. I'm also gonna save this to cars. I hope this covers it. Yo, a fellow Volkswagen Golf fan. Yes, yes, I love those cars. I have one actually. Truly, man's best creation. I have a 2005 Saleen Mustang. Okay, let's look at those. Okay. I'm not much of a Mustang man. I mean, I would always worry about gas consumption, but up there in Texas, in the States, I think it would be a really cool car to drive. Now, if you're into cars, here are two books which you have to own. They are published by Kraus Books, okay? These are American books, which, I mean, it took me 10 years to find them, but they're wonderful. One of them is called Weird Cars. And I got this, I think, years and years ago, like in 1999 or something. So these are like very, like, in the States, you have books like this, like, they're very solidly made. Their design is a bit eccentric, but their content is wild. So there's no color art, it's all black and white, but it's just full of really weird, amazing cars from movies and like concept fairs and like some production models or custom jobs too. So this is one. So the hot dog car, as Cheryl Cyborg says, is the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile, and apparently they saw one in New York in the town of Oneonta. Okay. Another book from the same publisher, Kraus Books. It's called American Dream Cars. This is a wonderful book too. These are more like solid concept automobiles and stuff, also black and white. And I just love this about these American books and these American car books. Gnome's Child says, I live an hour from Oneonta. Man, you guys, like, look, I keep saying this, but really, America is the only place in the world, maybe also with Australia and Canada, but really, like, the USA is the only place in the world where there's like these thousands of towns all over the place. And there's a pretty high standard of living across all of them. So it's like, if you have a car there, it's like going through the Star Wars universe. You can go from town to town, and the towns will be subtly different, but you can meet people who are similar to you, or maybe who are wildly different, but still whom you can like get along with. And you can't do that easily in many hours, many places on Earth. So you're really blessed to be like that. Thomas Strimpel says, hello, Mr. Kozeman. Hello to you too. The weirdest car I ever seen was a car shaped like a yellow shoe in front of a shopping mall. Okay. What are your thoughts on the Monster Hunter franchise of games? I love the creature design in those games, but I've never played it. Siren XO says you can drive for 10 hours and still be in Texas. Yeah, that's the lovely thing about it. I've literally like driven from weeks and weeks. I drove all the way from Seattle down to San Francisco. That was a fine time. I'm going to get some refreshments. And I'm going to leave you with the books of the night. It's a very eclectic selection, certainly. Oh, oh no, come on. Cars, weird cars, and demons. What a night. Okay, I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Just list your questions and look, tonight was a improvised stream. I really didn't plan on streaming, but I think it's cool to stream whatever. So I'm a bit sleepy. I may not be pulling a 3-hour stream, okay? But when I'm back, we will visit Oneonta, New York, and see what that place was all about. Have you ever visited Florida? Oh, you bet. I spent like 2 months there at Ringling School of Design. I was in there for the pre-college program. Sarasota, what a wonderful place that was. I mean, I could see like anal lizards and alligators. It's a wonderful freaking place. Okay, I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere and list me your questions. Also, list me suggestions on where I could visit in the United States. I feel like traveling through the USA tonight. Oh, I also drew another creature from Snayat. Look, this was my night. What a blessed night I had. Okay, you drink these in. I'll be right back. Oh oh Allah'a şükür. Oh be. Ah. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, let's get these books and stuff out of the way. Allah'a şükür. Okay, it's this. I like saying it. It means blessed be. I, when you're happy and things are good, you say that. It's not religious in any flavor, but it is a way to thank God, be grateful for all the nice things you have. And I have a habit of doing this. Like when I eat, or it's a good night or a cozy night, or even after a little snack, or I don't know, a nice moment, or even when you're going through a shitty moment, actually, you say Allah'a şükür, which thank God, blessed be. So you don't take anything for granted, because it could be gone, all gone, just like this. I doubt most people say, is there an equivalent in the English language? I remember once I was working in advertising, and well, I had my tea, and I was like, oh, Allah shukr, it was a cozy night. And there was this new guy who was a bit of an upstart and a cocky character. And when I said, oh, Allah shukr, he was like laughing. He thought I was a bumpkin, or like a conservative guy or whatever. Then there was a meeting in which I spoke in English and helped get a client on board. This guy, his jaw had dropped. I guess. You look so dominating from this perspective, says Lucas Evangard. Well, I don't know what to tell. I'm sure that's bound to get some people interested, but so I'm now praising the Lord, having soda, which is mineral water of this brand, and just burping. One reason to be thankful is that on this day, 3 years ago, Turkey, especially southern Turkey, suffered a huge earthquake in which more than 100,000 people died. Entire communities were wiped out. Families were wiped out. It was a horrible, horrible time. And people just buried it right back to their subconscious. It was forgotten so quickly. It is really awful. So yeah, another reason to be thankful. I ain't no freaky here. By the way, look, this is one of my bad habits, okay? I'm a huge fan of internet drama, slop, YouTube shit in the background. And whoever heard of the story of Turkey Tom, please let me know, because I've been listening to that just before streaming, actually. Long story short, there's this character named Turkey Tom. He was recently accused by some nefarious ex-girlfriends about being a horrible misogynist. And for 1 or 2 weeks, everybody talked about how Turkey Tom was so over and how he was like such a canceled misogynist or like a woman abuser or a wife beater or whatever. I mean, it's all trash, okay? Toxic Tune. Yes, I heard about the Turkey Tom drama. Yeah, I think most American friends would have. So look, I'm not saying this guy is the best person on earth, okay? But then he came up with receipts showing that the two women accusing him of like basically being too rough in bed or like being a perv, they were like asking for it and they were far more perverted than he could ever be. So he struck back with receipts. So it's a nice thing to listen to in the background when you're drawing alien fish or shit like this. Yes. So, anyways, I am scared of you guys, says Guitar Tapping Masters. Why are you scared? Anyways, enough looking at Turkey Tom's Bulgarian looking face. But, anyways, so that is that. His videos are definitely good background noise for drawing. Yes, yes. I'm also a big fan of the Kino Casino channel. It's these guys. Andy Worski and the other guy. I'm a huge fan of these guys. So who was the name of the other guy? Ah, God, I forgot. Ashton and Andy Worski. So these guys just talk about weird losers on the internet nonstop. It's like just banter. What I like about this channel is this guy, Andy Worski. For like politically or even intellectually, I don't find him close to me at all. But he has got one of the realest comeback stories and like one of the nicest, most wholesome redemption arcs in all of the internet. So this guy years and years ago started making short movies with superheroes and stuff like this. I'm trying to find. It was called Dark Fist. Yeah. So it's like this superhero movie about like I'm just gonna show you. So it was a superhero movie about like some, masked hero and some comedy and some gore and stuff like that. So this was a scene from Dark Fist, okay? So I find this very close to my heart because right around the same time, around like the early 2010s, this guy was filming Dark Fist. I had also a similar hero movie called Kırk Ayak, which was it was a bit earlier than this. This was in 2008. Dark Fist was, I think, in 2012. I'm trying to look for pictures, the movie. Okay, wait, I got some for you. Oh Pop, 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 pop. Just bear with me, please, okay? Okay, I have to look it from, I have to find it from YouTube, so sorry. Just a second. Where the hell did I put it? Okay, you just have to bear with me. I swear it was on my YouTube channel, but maybe it was with link only. Okay, wait. Okay. So I'm not going to show you the film because it's actually on a private channel. It's on a private video. But right when, I mean, it was a global thing, I think. So, like, this guy was making movies like this, and I was making films like this called Kırk Ayak. So it's about this down and out character which I play who gets in the mix with the mafia and stuff, then becomes a sort of hero who. Can you watch this, by the way? I'll just play one scene for you, okay? I'll just play one scene. Oradan girdim. Bu ne lan? So it was a film like this. Very fast cuts, layered editing, many L cuts, extra diegetic music, a punk rock approach. So I really, really liked making movies like this. Absolute cinema. So this is why I always felt a close affinity to Andy Warski. And maybe if I wasn't this lucky about education, really, I could have wound up as a Turkish version of this character. What this guy later did was he began hanging out with this sort of right wing internet blood sports wrestling kind of characters, like a weird and sorry bunch. And he had an incident called the aim incident, where him and a bunch of other guys were high on coke. So this is during his like downfall era now, okay? So he's having like these debates and like, I don't know, like doing a lot of podcasts and stuff and challenging people to fights and stuff. And then one drunken night, him and a few others got drunk and got mixed up with some other people. And he had another guy pull a gun on some people who they thought were trailing them. So this was his thing. So he spent a lot of time pulling up from this shithole, and he battled addiction and a lot of issues. And then he landed this place with the Kino Casino channel, and I think it's a very wholesome redemption arc of a very talented, very creative, a very smart and very fun internet personality. So that is that with Andy Warski and the Kino Casino, which I'm a big fan of. I'm sure many of you are bored listening to me yap about obscure internet culture trivia, but such is life. So now he's found redemption and he's making fun of other losers who couldn't pull out of the nosedive. He's a really funny character. The other guy, Ashton, is really funny too. I really like them. They make fun of these like true degenerates. Like there's this character named Rick Rekeita, another character called Styx Hexenhammer 666, who is a real like disgusting person. I mean, like woman abuser, deadbeat dad, like, and they're putting them all into their place. So, anyways, these guys also covered the Turkey Tom drama, and here maybe you thought I was a more erudite sort of person, but yes, even science fiction authors love their pablum, and it's a special talent to be able to be entertaining like this. It's something I couldn't do. Okay, you're the furthest from board. There's a part of me that wants to show more of my artwork to people, but another part is scared that people would compare my works to other artists' works. I think you should just go ahead and share it, and you'll see that what you fear the most almost never happens. If you want, you can email me your artwork and I can share it with everybody watching this stream right now. Just let me know. And I don't think anybody here is going to judge you. What do you think about Wakaliwood, the Uganda movie guys? Oh, those were really fun too. I think somewhere along the way, Wakaliwood, it was this Ugandan producer who made these like really cheap and weird, like computer graphic augmented videos, and they're all ultra violent. They're a bit like this. I think somewhere along the way they got a bit too self-aware though. But I always respect somebody who creates like trashy movies and just believes in them for the heck of it. I think it's a sign of a very healthy individual. Is the offer to share artwork for everyone? For tonight, I'm only extending it to Shai Shlim Tefao in the comment section. Maybe later in another stream where I'm less sleepy, we'll do a whole art review stream. They assembled everything from the trash. Gotta admire that, says Flow Zone about Wakaliwood. Guitar Tapping Master says, I drew you as a Pukeko bird. Can I show it? Not now. Today, my good graces extended only to Shine Shilium Tefau. I'm very sleepy now. I can't do a whole art review thing, and it would be, if I see it would be unfair to many people. But in the next stream, we can do a bespoke art review stream, and you can actually email me your stuff beforehand. and I'll just open them and review them with everybody else. Special evolution, says Syra next door. Okay, I'm checking my email, okay? Give me a second. Gnome's Child says an art review stream would be very cool. Yes, it's a very good idea. Would be like a almost like a art class where I offer critique. My art style is too similar to one artist, says Şaşilum Tefau. That's not bad. Also, I need to see your art style in order to comment with any further clarity. So there is that. Okay, I'm going to give it one more minute. If you don't want to show your artwork, that's fine. I'm just going to move on to the map section. And we're going to punter around the United States, and then I'm going to go to bed. Is that okay? Guitar Tapping Master says you should visit places in Texas or Arizona. Devin Somers says there's a place in Ohio I'd like to visit soon called Old Man's Cave. Okay. Lucas Evangard says, will you come to Brazil? One day, I hope. Okay. You won't get shot. That won't be a problem for me. But I do remember, like years ago, 15 years ago, I had Brazilian friends visit Istanbul. They were friends of mine from like my international master's studies. And they were a couple, a boy and a girl. So I took them to a park. I took them here, actually. Let's do our map thing too. Na, 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 na. So I took them to this park. Okay, it's a seaside park. Really nice place. Let's share and see. Hope it works. So I took them to the seaside park. But I want proof that you can see it and you don't just see a blank screen. Do you see the screen? Yes, we see it. Okay, so here, the girl suddenly started crying. She broke down crying because this is like you can swim, you can walk, you can hike, you can do anything you want. And there's lots of personal space too. And look, one neat thing about Turkey in general is that you have women in the hijab, and next to them are ladies in swimming suits and bikinis. So it's a really peaceful place. The woman started crying, and I was like, "What's wrong?" And she said, "I just realized that something like this could never exist in Brazil. It would attract so many criminals, and it would only be the domain of the rich. You would have to have like guards with machine guns in the borders of the park or something." And it was like very, very touching. And it was one of those little memories which began my transformation from a boring global liberal into a center of the right Turkish patriot. So that is that with Brazil. But I would love to go. Maybe Rio is. I have no idea. I've never been there. Okay, so let's go to Onionda. Sorry, was this how we spelled it? That name stuck with me, so also I'm getting sleepy, so my brain is getting slower. What was the name of that New York town? Onionda, right? Or maybe Onionta. Okay, here we go. It's in halfway through upstate New York. Looks like it's in a ravine or a valley. This looks like a nice street. Center Street. Yes. I already love what I'm seeing here. It looks very bright and the houses look very livable, and I mean, what's there not to love? The scale always gets me in the United States. Like, it's a small town, but here you got a separate pavement and a two-lane road. It's a bit cracked, but that will do. It's a town you can ride bicycles around in. But to where is the question. There's a man looking at the Google car. Looks like a realtor, huh? That's a nice house. My uncle used to live right by there, says Cyril Cyborg, referring to a place called Hove's Cavern. Can you see the map, by the way? For some reason, I always would feel more comfortable in houses with small windows rather than something like this. Anyone can break into this place. So yeah, I'd be more at ease here. In fact, I would probably have a steel door by the staircase and just live upstairs. It's the apartment dweller in me that I cannot comprehend the safety of ground floors from intruders. Guitar tapping master sends a retracted message. Okay. That's a neat one. Okay, Onionta is an amazing house. Amazing town. This is a nice one. Okay, this looks safe for me. Apparently, this is a local thing. And that's a nice thing with exploring Google Maps. Like, you have these like local architectural flourishes, like this sort of extended glassed-in entranceway or something. Lucky people, what can I say? All right. Lux Aterna says, "Oh no, I missed most of the stream. Cheryl Cyborg says, I know people who've been burglarized in Onionta. Ah Shadow says, my cat looked at the Google car. Kotobuki says, hello. I missed the stream. Well, you can join the replay gang. And if you do, let me know. Oh, I'm getting sleepy. Guys, I'm very pleasantly sleepy. There's a planetarium. Let's look. Let's check that out. Oh, we can't go there. Hmm. This is another part of Onionta. So, like, where do people go to get their groceries? I think this is the commercial part. Hmm. I love these old style strip malls. Look, it's made out of concrete, maybe from the 1960s even. Now it's got spray tanning places and chiropractic and games and comics. Bearded Dragon games and comics. Okay, we found the place. Look, look. You seem to like brutalism or just malls. I like them both equally. Also, look, in the States, a concrete structure is always, I think, a rarity, huh? It's not made out of clapboard. So this is the place. New store location just across the street from our old location. Burp here. So what do they have? It's a nice, wholesome looking D&D kind of place. I'm not much into D&D, comics, Magic the Gathering, but like this looks like a very, very wholesome store, and it is obviously run with love. So all the best to these people. Once again, we found them entirely through Google Maps, which was cool. Ah, some modern apartments. I think this is the more 15-minute city part of Onionta. Looks like, I mean, looks more recent, maybe more convenient, but yeah, after seeing those houses, oh, look at all these people. What are they doing in there? Some sort of event, I don't know. Big Al's barbecue, okay. Yeah, this is a nice place. You can't, you will die of thirst if you don't have a car here. But once you accept that, it's a beautiful place to live. Free agent, some sort of gangsta store, okay. Imagine if all of America was like urbanized this way. You would still need to drive, but there's stores and there's like 3-story buildings everywhere. This area, it might be a bit seedy, but still bearable dentistry. Man, this wins the this wins the honest establishment name award. Bearable dentistry, as opposed to unbearable. Looks a lot like where I used to live in New Jersey. Also impossible to function without a car, unfortunately, says Kotobuki. Gnomes Child says these cool spots are mostly the remnants of the old town. Guitar Tapping Master says this is comfy. I know Bearable Dentistry is lying about their name. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Okay, guys. Bearable Dentistry and a lovely night with you all. I'm going to cut it short tonight. Nearly 2 hours. Gnome's Child says, I've had unbearable dentistry before. Oh, yeah, tell me about it. Last year, I had a horrible wisdom tooth removal operation, and it was botched because I'd left it in for so long. The tooth had ankylosed with the jawbone, and its root was tapping into the nerve and the bone, so they couldn't really pull it out. They smashed it and extracted the pieces out bit by bit. The operation took 4 hours, and they did what was called like a crown removal. So the bit of the tooth that was attached to my jawbone, was left in there. And thank heavens the tooth hadn't gone rotten or anything. But it was really unbearable dentist. It was actually, the dentist was a great guy. It was just an unbearable dental condition. Ungöngahrim says, in one of your streams, you mentioned a book by a Turkish intellectual where bed bugs attack him at night and they fight them off with gasoline. It might be something by the author Ahmet Hashim, but I need to check. Too sleepy now to look that up. So, yeah. Look, guys, it was amazing with you tonight. I hope you had a fun time. This was a bit of an impromptu stream. I hope you all have a great weekend. I'll keep hanging around and doing my things online and offline. If you feel good after listening to my stream, look, please go to Buy Me a Coffee. /CM Kozeman, okay? And consider buying me a cup of coffee. Even one cup makes a lifeline, a world of difference for me. Imagine I parasocially hung out with you. Maybe you feel like ordering my mineral water or some shit. If you're watching live or if you're watching in the replay, gang, it really makes a difference for me. Plus, look, I'm never a freeloader, okay? If you buy me a coffee here, you unlock a huge gallery of artwork that only supporters can see. I left 2 of them open to tease people, but there's like tens and like nearly 300 small paintings here. And the thing with these paintings is they don't appear anywhere else, not in my Patreon, not anywhere else. These are the small paintings that are not sketches, but not full paintings either. So there's like a whole magical, whimsical world about them too. So buy me a coffee. Anyways, is that everybody? I hope you had a good time. And as always, this was CM Kozman. Oh my God, I want to see, says Lux Aterna. Then you need to buy me a cup of coffee. Okay, everybody, good night and lots of love. Boom.